was fortunate to meet amazing Julie Piatt in her beautifully designed house in the Santa Monica Mountains. Julie, also known as Srimati, is a mystic mother, musician, artist, chef, author, and healer who lives her life immersed in devotion and expansive creativity.
What is the architecture within this house? So suddenly it's like, it's not just like, oh, there's a building. You know, it's like, no, what is the frequency that created the building? What is it really saying?
She shares her spiritual wisdom as an integrative part of wellness, vitality, and realizing the greatest mission ever, fulfillment of the divine life.
If I want to ask you something really important, it's because I somehow feel like I relate to you on a certain level. Everything from listening to your podcast, reading your books, everything from the wild and the rebellious teenager expressing herself through music. I was in love with music and I wanted to make that my life. Painting, into fashion, so working into fashion and in the magazine industries, and then getting to a point I discovered the passion for cooking and for yoga and for this search of my healthier version. But looking at you, at least I think that you came to this place of maturity, consciousness, and awareness. And I think this is something that we are all in search for, this connection with ourselves. How does one get there? Is it something that, I don't know, do you put your energy and your actions into this goal because you know you want to get there? Or is it coming to another way because you're ready for it, or you just stumble into it?
Yeah, well, I think that this question is why I started my new community, which is called Water Tiger. Yeah. And the reason that it's called Water Tiger is because it's a portal, it's an animal energy, a frequency that I was able to sort of inhabit, you know, sort of go into and feel into all the ways that I've been shy to be myself, or all the ways, like I always do this, like that I've just done this, so someone else could be a little bit, you know. So yeah, and you know, I think also as feminine energies, and you know, many women were holding. We have 29 Lakshmi arms, and we're holding, you know, a universe with this one, and then raising 5 kids over here, and then helping our husband here. We do a lot, you know. We're multitasking, and we're eternal creators, so it will never stop. It's part of the feminine energy. And I came into this awareness after studying with so many different traditions, from galactic emissaries to alien races that are from the planet Syria, or the Palladians, or let's say Lakota Sioux Chief, or let's say the Mayan elders, or many different lineages of Eastern Indian teachings, which I have a lot of past life connection with that strain, you know. So they always came here, and they weren't going to houses, but you know, they would be here speaking to 100 people, and all the gurus always come to my house. They always end up here. So welcome. So you're here. That's
Thank you very much.
That's you.
Thank you.
But I think that where I came to at the end of the day is, and all of these life forms are so beautiful. I mean, what I learned, the experiences, my life has been so delicious and exciting and miraculous, and not always easy, but miraculous, you know, transformative. Something about my design, I mutate things. So if you come into my experience, I'm a transformer. And it's not an idea in my mind, it's the way.
A plan, or something that
I'm like, oh, I want to transform people. No. It's the essence of my energy. And if you look at it in a human design form, or astrology, or Vedic astrology, or something, you can see aspects of it there. Why? What is the purpose of the life? And I think where I am right now is, I realized I was at a wellness conference, and they were featuring a lot of experts in wellness that are the best sellers, that are, you know, this faction's arguing for paleo, this faction's arguing for vegan. They're talking about all these different things, and it's all very well-meaning. And I love this community. The founders have been amazing to me. So it's with immense gratitude. And I had this big awareness that we're all trying to shift the experience from the wrong level. It's like every single thing is a crisis of consciousness. It's the first connection. It's not, it's this connection first and then everything else.
Yeah.
And in our entire culture, we're not looking at it like that. So I went back to my meditation room, very frustrated, and knowing what I know, what I've experienced over 30 years, really my whole life, I have been incarnated for this purpose. So I've always been one of the ones that didn't fit in, that was trying to find out what happened when we die.
So you had the sign.
I had it. I just was born this way. Yeah. So I was grabbing a ride to church with the neighbors when I was 6. And I was in love with Jesus. I was like, oh, he's the coolest guy ever. You know, I've always been like that. So I became a born-again Christian without my parents at age 12. Like, how that happens.
You had a calling.
Oh, I had a calling, and I don't even know how that happens as a mother. Like, where was my mother? Yeah. But she was there. But so I ended up becoming a born-again Christian, which is a very, very extreme, you know, form of Christianity. And then I saw that start to unravel, all as a 12-year-old. I saw the whole thing just start to unravel. And then my parents wouldn't send me to Christian school. And I was like, I'm stuck in this family for another 7 years. So I went into drug exploration. I was like, all right. But that wasn't in a spiritual way. That was just, I'm a prisoner in this life. I can't get out. So I'll just, you know, let me just.
That's my getaway then.
Sort of, yeah, in that way. So, but going back to Water Tiger, and we were talking when you first came in about fashion. Yeah. About, as you can tell, my environment is very important to me.
It's really important, and the way you're mixing style, fashion, architecture, and spirituality, and all of these rituals, it's amazing.
So this space is the beauty of fashion, of the environment, of clothes, of everything that we're doing, is it's like beauty is part of spiritual language. It's part of creating a container, right? Like here I've created a sacred temple. This has been created through years of ceremony and really love and devotion. So I would say that my secret sauce, or the secret ingredient to what I do, is devotion, but it's not devotion to something outside of myself, or Ganesh, or a deity, or anyone. It's devotion to this as a life form. And so that is what I am endeavoring to cultivate in Water Tiger through offering that mentorship program, so that your life will not be like my life. Your search for your realization is your unique journey. And I believe in nature as a perfect symphony. And if I can empower you to grab yourself and really embody, I know you're going to bless me, and you're going to bless all creation, the earth, everything, because you were made in divinity. And so I think that we have a spiritual community that has picked up ideas of certain lineages, and we've tried them on ourselves. And some of it has been really amazing, expansive. I mean, a physical yoga practice. Yoga, as just even the physical asanas, is an extraordinary practice.
For sure.
I mean, extraordinary. I love it. And I am beyond yoga. So my friend and I used to say, I love the lineage, but I am not of the lineage. So the idea is, can we give ourselves permission to really be all that we are? And this body is a sacred technology. It's a technology of time travel, of transformation, of simultaneous living. We are multidimensional beings having a simultaneous experience. So we are existing in many places. Can we give ourselves the permission to receive this vessel as a sacred technology and love it in that way? When I teach on retreat, my beloved retreat. I call it beloved. I've been teaching it for about, I don't know, going on 2 years now. And the main focus of the retreat is falling in love with yourself. And so we go to the mirror.
Which is amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot in there. You know, we go to the mirror and people just lose it. I mean, we have been being so violent to ourselves for so long, for different reasons. To really understand, to really look at yourself in the mirror. And have we actually looked at, and accept, and not only accept, how about adore?
Exactly.
How about,
because even accept is like,
no, it's like, oh, you're okay.
You're okay. Yeah.
Right.
No, you adore yourself. I mean, why not?
And so but it's so foreign for us because, and this isn't our fault. It's nobody's, it's been done by design.
Yeah.
We've been separated and pulled from the reality that we are divine, magnificent beings. And we've been separated on purpose so that we would not remember. So we would not remember our capacity. And so I always, on retreat, when I'm talking, I bring up the example that if you and I made a date to sit down and talk to each other, and if I sat down with you, I'm going to do it reverse because I don't want to do it. But if you sat down with me and you said, you know, Srimati, it's really nice to meet you. I just have to tell you, I think your hair is all wrong. You know, it's okay. You tried, but it's kind of all wrong. And you know, I like it that you're thin, but I think you're a little too thin. Maybe you should try to eat more avocados so that you get fatter. And you know, I think your eyes are all right, but it would be better for me if they were blue. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
But
ridiculous.
We tell ourselves those tapes constantly over and over and over again. So what I had the opportunity of meeting more than a few individuals who have had extraordinary stories. I can't remember their names. That's I don't carry a lot of information around in my head, so I don't necessarily have a lot of facts and figures. So I'm giving you all, this is all just heart. Yeah. But I've met more than a few individuals who had careers as, let's say, brain surgeons, or you know, a master of the brain, a physician of the brain. And they've suffered a life-threatening accident where part of their brain went dead. They were in a coma, but they were conscious in the coma. My dog's snoring right now, so if you guys hear that.
That's nice, that's cute.
But if they, so part of their brain was dead, and they had the experience that they were lucid outside of the body. So what they did is they asked the part of the brain, okay, so let's say the part of the brain that does motor is dead. Yeah. So they went and they asked the part of the brain that does cognitive to take over the motor functions. And they woke up. And it worked. So part of my healing techniques, I call them healing techniques. Ultimately, there's nothing to heal, right? But it's a semantic to just say.
It's opening the door.
Yeah, because if I say initiation technique, then people won't understand at this stage. But it's about taking the awareness into the body. Like how would we interact with ourselves if we understood that the body was a sacred technology? Just even that. Yeah. Just meditate on that for the year and see, just a year, and see what shifts. Yeah. So for me, we were talking earlier, it's all about perspective. And the perspective that matters is your own. I can't get to the end of my life and be dropping my body and say, well, I didn't quite realize my design, which is only one in the entire omniverse. There's only one of us, each of us. Yeah. How can you not fulfill that and then say, oh, but I did the practice the way the Buddhists told me to do it? It doesn't make any sense to do that. So, yes, we can learn from each other. I can dance with you. Yeah. I can dance with the Buddhists. I can love and adore the Vedic lineage. I can understand the beauty of a sacred, revered monk and the fact that he can recite 1,000,000 verses. I can fall on the floor in ecstasy over that. That's not my life. It's not me.
You need to find your own truth.
It's all you.
All you.
And then when you say it's all you, then we've been taught if you go all you, then you're selfish and you're shallow.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about recognizing the divinity within yourself. And by realizing yourself, you then spontaneously, you don't have to think about it. Your frequency will transform and lift people, lift animals, plants, energy, other life forms. It's really just been sitting here the whole time. Yeah, I think that the one thing that's important to realize is that as human beings, we are all spiritual. We are potentially divine, right? It exists within us. So you don't need the permission of a priest or a lineage or a guru or a yoga community or anyone to start to see yourself, to start to receive yourself. You know, maybe a good example is with the same love that you would extend to a precious child. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe that would be a good place to begin. There is no hierarchy in when the sun is shining, it shines on everything equally. You know, there's no discrimination, and this idea that one lineage has the dominion over any teachings or any information or any practices is just not aligned. I mean, everything is open, free. We have free will, and at least what I am cultivating is the connection to Source directly so that I may live as a sovereign being and possibly reflect that back to people that are in my sphere, that wish to spend time with me or listen to what I share. It's about full freedom and sovereignty with the individual. And no one is coming to save you, and no one is coming to resolve your life experience. So your life is going to be what you devote to it. What is it to you? Why did you incarnate? And it might be that you don't want to go very deep this life, and that's fine. So it's not, when you go into nature as an example, like with water tiger, you can very easily find amusement when you say, well, is a tiger spending time trying to convince the eagle that it's better to be a tiger? It's ridiculous. Exactly. It's irrelevant. Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. So my quest is, how about if I just be me? How about if I just begin here?
And from that place, but still from that place, you are sharing. Mm-hmm. So you're sharing your experience, you're sharing your knowledge,